I'm so excited. I'm so honored. As they mentioned, it is the CLI board that awards this recognition. And the CLI board is composed of some of the biggest movers and shakers in the Colorado legal community. So it is a tremendous honor for me that they selected me for this recognition. As I mentioned in the video, this is a special award because Wiley Daniel was my, I call him comrade in arms. My son called him my partner in crime. But yes, we fought many a legal battle, many a diversity battle on the legal professional front. I want to thank Marco Briones for the video that he put together. He did such a fabulous job with that. Patrick O'Rourke, thank you for the beautiful letter that you wrote nominating me. But for your letter, I don't know if I would have received this. I want to thank my dear friends Lorenzo Trujillo and Judge Roberto Ramirez for walking by my side as we have undertaken this incredible journey with Law School Yes We Can, and we're starting to turn out lawyers from diverse backgrounds into the community. Thank you to my adopted grandchildren, Tomas Manriquez and Viri Valdez, for being tenacious and never giving up, no matter how rough the road became. Now, everyone believes that judges should not cry. So I hope I can get through this next part without crying. I am dedicating this award to my late husband, Ron, who was my rock and my soulmate. Now, many of you knew him as a quiet, stoic, private man who did not like to be in the limelight, but who loved for me to be in the limelight. He was my biggest supporter. He was the perfect counterbalance to me, actually, because as you know, I'm very outgoing and I don't mind being in the limelight. And I want to pay tribute to him tonight and to paint for you a picture of this incredible man who is my lifetime mate. My words are not going to do him justice, but I will do the best that I can in the time that I have. Let me start at the beginning. When I was in high school, I came from a very stereotypical Hispanic family. And when I was in high school, my father counseled me, and I loved my dad dearly. But he counseled me that men did not like their wives being smarter than them or being better educated than them. And he was worried that I was never going to be able to get married because I was unwilling to dumb myself down to find a man. He didn't want me to give up on my dreams, but he wanted me to try to just lower it a few notch. But you know, you who know me know that's not me. I wanted to go to Harvard, and I was smart, and I was going to prove to everybody that I was smart enough to get into Harvard. And I thought to myself, well, I'm going to be a career woman anyway. I'm going to be able to support myself, so I don't really need to get married. And especially because no man was ever going to tell me what I could and could not do with my life. And then I met Ron my first week at college. I was the lowly freshman, he was the upperclassman. He was cute. He actually looked like Donny Osmond. I couldn't believe that he was actually interested in me. And he was not intimidated by my intellect. He was not put off by my extreme candor, because I can be very candid, as those of you who know me know. And I'm pretty self-assured. One of my favorite stories about him is when we would take walks, he always held my hand. And we'd be talking, and he'd stop in his tracks. And he'd take his hand from mine and he would go. First time he did, I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "That was a 5-syllable word that you just used. I've never dated a girl who spoke in more than 2 syllables. So he was always joking like that. When I told him my dream was to become a lawyer and to go to Harvard Law School, he wasn't put off. Instead, he was supportive. And he said, "I think that's great." Just as importantly, he cooked, he cleaned, he ironed his own clothes. I didn't know that God made Latino men like that. And to tell you the truth, I think that they're very rare, whether they're Latino or not. Ron and I got married 4 months after we met. I knew he was my soulmate. He knew I was his. And marrying him was the best thing I ever did. And I can honestly say that I would not be standing here before you with all of the successes that I've had if he had not been by my side that entire time. And honestly, my senior year in college, even though it had been my dream to go to Harvard since I was 13, I got cold feet. I was afraid of failure. And I thought, what if they reject me? What if they don't accept me? And he said to me, very matter-of-factly, can you live the rest of your life not knowing? And it was that simple advice that he would give to me throughout my life that would put things into perspective. And so I applied, and of course the rest is history. Now, people often ask me very incredulously, you went to law school being married? How did you do that? And I look at them and I say, you went to law school not being married? How did you do that? Because during law school, and actually throughout my entire life, Ron was my shrink, he was my cook, he was my cleaner. All I had to do in law school was study and go to class. He made sure that I had every free moment I could have. When I got my first C ever in my entire life, it was at Harvard, my first semester, my first class, and to me a C was an F. I thought I was a failure. And I moped around, and he let me mope around. He was very loving, and he was very encouraging, until the next day when I got up and I started to feel sorry for myself again, and he said, enough, stop. Did you know that material? And I said, yes, I did. He said, then what does it matter what your law professor thought? You're going to go out there and you're going to be a lawyer and you're going to represent people, and it's the knowledge that counts now. It's not the grade. Very simple advice, but boy, it really cleared things up in my mind. Those of you who know me, and as they mentioned, I've had many different jobs because I tend to get bored after 5 or 6 years. And Ron was always so supportive. No matter how many times I said I need a change, he would say, what will make you happy? And he would tell me to do whatever it was that would make me happy, even if it meant he had to move to Kansas, which he did not want to do, but he did for me. When we started our family, he was the dominant caregiver. He sacrificed his career so that I could have mine. He was an elementary school teacher for 30 years. He could have been a principal, but he chose not to be because he wanted me to be able to spend the time I needed to be successful in my career. He had the biggest heart. I mean, he had students who wrote to him. He taught elementary. They wrote to him when they got to college to tell him how much of an impact he had on their life, the same way my teachers had an impact on my life. He had the biggest heart. And he always had a smile on his face and a joke on his tongue. He was by my side every step of the way, and without him, I honestly can tell you, I would not be where I am today. I believe that God places every person on our path as a gift. Ron, you were the utmost gift to me, and I dedicate this award to you. I also want to give special thanks to my son, Ron, who you saw in the video. Thank you, honey, for stepping in, stepping up to the plate, and becoming the rock that I and the rest of our family need at this time. Now, I'm not going to give my usual spiel on the importance of inclusivity and diversity because I will be preaching to the choir. You all are tuned in because you are already committed to diversity and inclusiveness. You support the Center for Legal Inclusiveness because you believe in the mission. I will say, however, that it brings me great joy to see how much this Colorado community is supporting organizations like the Center for Legal Inclusiveness, like Latinas First, the Pledge to Diversity, the Symposium on Race, and yes, my program, Law School Yes We Can. My message tonight is for the younger generation. It is my hope that watching me receive this award and listening to the words that I speak to you will inspire you. And in 20 years or so, we're going to see you standing here receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award. And you may be thinking to yourself, yeah, right. Well, please know that when I was your age, many moons ago, more than I care to admit, it never occurred to me that I would be fortunate enough to live the life that I have lived, or that one day I would be standing here accepting a Lifetime Achievement Award. What I want to tell you is that you all have it in yourself to be successful, in whatever you undertake. Please do not ever forget where you come from and who helped you get to where you are. Now, people ask me why I give so much time of my own mentoring and inspiring young people. And I want to tell you a short story. When we first started law school, Yes We Can, we had Justice Scalia come to CU Law. And a couple of my students from CSU Fort Collins couldn't make it down here. They didn't have a ride. So I drove to Fort Collins, and I picked him up, and I brought him back to Boulder, and then I took him back to Fort Collins. And one of the young ladies who was in our program said to me, why are you doing this? What is in it for you? And why would I go out of the way for her? So I will tell you what I told her. I am a people person, and I enjoy getting to know people. Picking her up and taking those hours out of my time gave me an opportunity to actually get to know her better. More importantly, from a broader perspective, I believe that there's more to life than just being born, growing up, working, and dying. I believe, as I mentioned earlier, that God places each of us on this earth to make the world a better place. God has blessed me with so much in life, and I think it is only right that I become the gift that God has placed in the path of others. This young lady wanted to become a lawyer, and God placed me in her path. So I am her gift. My role in her life was to help smooth out that road for her. She is now in law school, and she is giving back to the community every day. I merely try to be a gift to everyone whose path crosses mine. My hope is that they in turn will be a gift to those who cross their path. In closing, I want to leave you with two tenets by which I have tried to lead my life. The first comes from the Lakota instructions for living. Whatever you do in life, do the very best you can with both your heart and your mind. The second comes from the last stanza of my favorite poem entitled Success. To know that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. That is to have succeeded. Thank you.